Hello, everybody, and welcome to round 5 of the 2020 Chess Essay Online Olympiad Selection Tournament Open Section. uh, it's basically a tournament played to select players for an Olympiad team which will compete against other countries' Olympiad teams. So yeah, this is what the tournament's all about, and I think there's a first place prize of 5,000 rand in each section. There's a open section, an under 20 section, and a ladies section. I will mostly be dealing with. Oh, okay. I will mostly be dealing with just the open and the under 20 section, as my computer will just simply crash with the amount of tabs open, and also I'm not fast enough to jump between all three sections at the same time. Um, but in any case, let's just see what's happening so far with the standings. So it is okay. So first, second, and third place will consist of the open 5,000. Will be split between that. So far in the open section, we have got a leader, Holy Cornholio, who is Roland Besaidenout, with 3 points out of 5. Masiam Fundo behind him with 2.5. Bramos Jake Bunguni. Then the Sneaky Weasel, who I'm not sure of who he is, and Lupus Fullman, Supremacy Blitz. And just to show you guys how tough the tournament is, number 7 is a Grandmaster with only 1.5. Out of 4, but actually out of 3 because he had to buy the first game. So that's that's what's happening in the open section. We will be getting pairings in soon. Oh, there we have them immediately. Jacob and Guni versus the Sneaky Weasel. And going down some theory over here, we'll see who stands the better. Obviously, if it takes, simply mate. So Jacob and Guni won't be blundering that. Supremacy Blitz versus our South African GM. Oh, by the way, sorry, I just need to move the... Sorry, I realize this is in the way. There we go. Here's the position. Mate wasn't blundered by Jacob. Kenny Solomon with the black pieces in this game. Rapid games, 15 plus 5. Mosia versus Roberto D'Abreu. And we're going to see a few ideas here. By the way, I'm not too sure how this knight configuration came along. Maybe via knight f6. So I'm... Okay, so it came from a French. You'd really just like this knight on e7 now to put it over here. But Masia's going to have a big spatial advantage here. But we know Roberto D'Abreu is just a trickster of note. He's going to find some resource. So going to move from the role of defending to attacking very soon in this game. And we're still waiting for some of the other people to start the game. Steenkamp. Johan Steenkamp with the black pieces in this game against Hakia. Not sure who that is. Johan Steenkamp, very strong rated. FIDE rated 2100, but no title at all. This guy's definitely international master quality. And not having too much luck so far today. Missing, I think, against Masia, a simple knight fork. But usually playing for the endgame is Johan Steenkamp. He's got a vast endgame knowledge. Okay, Blackjack, is he in a game? Kenny Willenberg is in a game against Lupus Fullman. And must say, Kenny hasn't really found his rhythm yet today. The rook going to d1 is kind of interesting. I guess tactically, you don't really need to worry about this if the rook's on d1. Maybe. Okay. But we'll get back to the games. We're just running through the starts of each of to see the pairings. Mr. Doogie is playing against Craig Willenberg, and we have a Karu Khan with an exchange on f6. Black is usually okay with that. He claims that the bishops and the files will be nice to work with. Craig blitzing out these moves, placing that knight all the way over there, saying you're not breaking through on h7. That concludes the pairings so far and the matchup for round. Well, this is round 5 of the tournament. And this is the open section. Now let's move on to the under 20s. In the under 20s, so far the standings are... Well, have they updated it yet? After round 4, Banelem Shangu has not lost the game. Neither has the Wolf. He had to buy the first round, therefore it seems like he's a point behind. But these two are on fire. Keegan Agallas has gone down. And Floppy the Dog with 0 points. I find that hard to believe. Paul Gluckman was actually very close to taking down the Wolf. He actually had a great game against him. One of the craziest in round 1 or 2. I can't remember now exactly. But we'll be able to see. Let's just quickly see. For reference, if you want to go look at the game, I think it was round 2. No, round 3. There's been a lot of chess so far today. Round 3? Round 4? When did they play? Floppy the Dog versus the Wolf. Yep. So it was round 2. You go reference round 2's game between those two. That was just a phenomenal game. And Crazy Castle, is he in the game yet? Crazy Castle 05. Paul Gluckman with 0 points. I think he's just frustrated by now. One of the best players going into this tournament, struggling to find his rhythm. Crazy Castle as well has been playing strange chess, and I really hope I'll be rooting for Paul in this game, just to get the guy going. Michael Simpson against Keith Kamalu, and okay, Keith is already striking at the center. F5. But maybe you need to kind of deal with F5. I'm just very curious as to whether the trades would be met by knight takes, I'm assuming. And after knight takes, whether bishop takes is the idea. Or if he's going to go g takes. And put his king on h8, rook on g8, and try and push this f4 pawn. So this will be an interesting position to see how it unfolds. People here in the chat are recommending f4 here for Michael. f4. Okay, so let's see what Michael gets up to. Kanya and Mark. Kanya already up a minor piece. Mark maybe wants this win too badly. He beat Kanya just before the lockdown in a classical tournament. And playing against... He played the Evans Gambit. But where did he go wrong? Because this definitely went wrong somewhere. Castles immediately. Yeah, you're supposed to... No, this does nothing. Oh, okay. So Mark and I went through a bit of theory on the Evans yesterday. And... bishop takes. Mark missed bishop takes in that line. Well, just dropped an easy piece over there. By the way, I think Mark shouldn't have castled immediately. Definitely queen b3. This type of thing he's been recommending to me actually lately. Castles maybe you're still fine, but you're supposed to take on e5, I feel. Knight g5 is premature. You want to play something like this and get bishop a3. But instead of castling, I can already say that queen b3 is theory. Capturing on e5 should also be fine. But knight g5 was maybe a bit too premature. And unfortunately, this line starting with bishop takes to remove the defender of the knight at the end of it doesn't work because of bishop takes. So he's already down a piece. 2 pawns for it. Did he win back the piece? No, losing the exchange. And unless he's got something great here, this is just going to be a quick game. Lights out. Okay. Trophy Master against Banelem Shangu. How has Banele gotten such nice positions so quickly? So, okay. The knight to f5 thing is very nice. And simply d3. queen takes, and white is super cramped. Okay. Maybe when, I don't know when bishop went to d3. Queen e1 kind of makes sense. Bishop d3 now, maybe not too much. Trading and queen back to d1. Everything seems kind of principled, but suddenly you're just sitting with this awful position. Maybe, how to navigate this in a different way though. Maybe bishop d3 was the start of something bad. Maybe something like bishop d1 and c3, but this type of thing is bishop d1, getting the knight back, c3. This type of thing is easy to say in hindsight. Bishop d3 feels kind of natural. Have to go back for the pawn. d4 and d3 come with tempo, and this is just a very awkward position. Maybe, I think the problem was a knight coming to the square. But I think you could maybe have tried something like this. Knight here, queen check, king here, knight takes. Okay, maybe it just loses too much material. So you needed to go knight e1 as well. And Trophy Master has got a very, very awkward position. I'm not liking his chances. Okay, but then they're just going to reshuffle for a bit. You can kick away the queen. Let's check into the corner. Maybe rook d8. Okay, let's see what happens there. Go through all of the games in the under 20 section for this round. Devon with the black pieces. He doesn't have a great position, to be honest. This is 95, e4 makes a lot of sense, but maybe trading it off would have also made some sense, or maybe even f5 to try and solidify it, because here he just lost the pawn. And d6 is a nice pawn to have for white. Also rook e7 is a possibility. White has got a great position. Panda Bird, are you playing? Panda Bird 1, playing against Keegan Chang. Keegan Agallis. And we have a Scotch going into... Yeah, this looks a lot like a two knights again. And Panda Bird is playing hyper aggressive chess. Okay. You're gonna go this. Maybe I'm not too keen on this pawn push. White would like the bishop here, looking down at the king. So I think Panda Bird will take this one home. Already it seems pretty nice for him. Keegan Agal is full of resources though. Don't underestimate him. Okay, so back to the open section. Jacob Nguni was taken down this road where don't take the bishop. At h5, g4, and I don't know when it happened, but suddenly Jacob Nguni's position seemed really nice. He's down 2 pawns, but a super sharp game. This is probably all theory, surrounded or backed by the fact that this knight is just super comfortable, and you've got the center. Nice file here to work with maybe, and yeah. So Nguni with some nice preparation here. The sneaky weasel has been known to be very sneaky, like a weasel. Okay, in this game we have Supremacy Blitz and Kenny Solomon. And Supremacy Blitz has been having a good tournament so far. He's been showing us that it's not only Blitz that he's good at, but he's almost got a 2300 rapid rating. Not many weaknesses in White's camp. His rooks are very naturally placed. But not many weaknesses in Black's camp as well. And maybe some potential for some b5 nonsense later on with c4. So White's got the bishop pair, and they're quite well placed. The Grandmaster playing with the black pieces. Macia versus Roberto D'Abrio. I knew this game would become explosive early on. The type of French with this awkward knight on d7. But f6 was played. Sorry, I'm going through the moves very quickly. Let's go a bit more slowly. And that... Ooh, exchange sack. You can rely on Roberto to play an exchange sack. He won't let him wait. Oh! And tactic of the day. Knight takes e5. Hello, pawn. Take my queen, you're losing a piece. And that is so cool. So Macia says, great, okay, did you calculate this part of the tactic? Because after king takes to h7, I'm taking the queen. And we've traded down into an endgame where I've got two rooks. At least, but Roberto's better here. What a nice find. Actually, a great find. Because he gave away one rook. Yeah, okay. He gave away one rook for this line. He had bishop e2. Who had bishop e2? Apparently bishop e2 here was a pretty good move for Macia. So actually, yeah, that's actually very, very true. Muzi in the chat over here says, bishop takes h7 check actually just gives the piece away again for a pawn. It seems like you're not giving black what he wants. Bishop e2. And suddenly it's still game on. I've got a rook for a knight. In this line, however, I've got your bishop and I've got two minors for your rook and a pawn. So a very weird type of situation to navigate, but bishop takes h7 check, not the best of moves. And okay, Nachi is in the house, busy checking out the game. Is he not playing a game himself? So I'm not sure whether Mr. Peaceful Warrior has withdrawn from the tournament. I know there's been talks about load shedding in certain parts of the country. Steenkamp, I was earlier saying that he's an endgame player. So he likes lines that lead to endgame situations. In this case, he played bishop h3 when we left. The bishop got traded, and he's maneuvering his pieces around still a bit. Looking for... Oh. And trust Steenkamp to play c3 here. Not to take a pawn or anything, but just to lock down your position. And not only will you be in lockdown, your position will be in lockdown too. Stage 3. Stage 3 lockdown of the queen at least. Or maybe we should say stage 5. Queen isn't allowed to go anywhere. I like Stenkamp's idea a lot. He's prepared to go for something like this. Is he honestly going to play knight f4 in that position? Allow rook e7. What does he want to do with the queen then? Queen f3 with tempo against the knight. Lots of lines here, so maybe bishop takes, knight takes, rook takes pawn. He wants to play knight. Oh, okay, here's the idea. Knight f5, rook to e7, knight takes check. Because the king can't come close to the knight. King g2, and the knight just moves back with check. So king f1, and then he wants to slip his queen into the position. Okay, I don't know if the arrows make sense, but let's just break it down more slowly. Okay, let's see. Bishop takes, knight takes, rook takes pawn, knight to f4, forking the pawn on h3 and the rook on e6. Obviously, white doesn't need to go for this, but a lot of people would like the second rank initiative. So let's say rook to e7. There's knight takes h3 check. The queen is still cutting down the king from h2. So obviously g2 is available, but just simply knight back to f4 then. King h1 would walk into knight takes f2 check. So king f1. And then the queen can slide in. So threatening mate. That looks very promising. Very, very promising. But that doesn't necessarily mean that after bishop takes, knight takes, white's going to take this pawn on e6, going for that line. What else can white really do? I think one of the big problems is the knight's coming to f5 in any case in that line. So maybe in this position you need to consider whether it's worth taking that bishop at all. But such a nice find. Bishop g6. Very nice. Okay, we'll get back to that in a second. Lupus full men against Kenny Willenberg. Kenny drew against Craig in the previous game. And this is his position. Kind of stuck defending, it feels, and not very active yet. Black seems fine. Okay, Craig against Doogie, but Doogie is offline as can be. And he's nowhere to be seen. And Craig, I would have said he's better if he had King G2, lying Rook H1. Wait, Doogie's with white pieces. I would say Doogie's better if he had this idea. But I'm actually going to put my money on Craig here. I'll have to put my money on Craig. Okay. Back to the under 20 section. Floppy the dog. Finally, it looks like he's going to take home a win. And how did he manage this? He's on 0 points at the moment. Definitely, if I had to actually pick beforehand which player I think has potential to take this event away from Banele, I actually picked Banele as the favorite. I would have said Paul Gluckman. I just think, especially in slower time controls, some great ideas come from the Gluckman family. Okay, I'm looking at this position, but how did he get rid of the bishop? I saw bishop d4. This is a great idea. If the bishop moves, the rook falls. If the bishop takes, make a queen. And now you're playing a queen. It's probably still kind of equal for white. But now black's definitely to be preferred because the king is exposed. Not enough pieces for white anymore. And hopefully Paul can take this one home. Michael Simpson against the Wolf. The Wolf has got extra material. Don't know how he managed that. And he's used no time on the clock whatsoever. It seemed... Oh, okay. So we did have f4. The Wolf was fine with that. And Michael's running out of time there, so we'll try and catch up quickly. Okay, so this was a pawn, first of all, in between a move. And when did the piece drop? Oh, here goes the exchange. Okay. So the exchange was bound to fall after queen h4. This was not the best idea, dropping the exchange because of bishop h6, but obviously Keith will play an intermezzo, just improve his position before doing so. And another intermezzo. And actually, he didn't win the exchange there. He won a piece somehow. And the queens, I think, got off of the board. One point or another over here. And it's one of those situations that which white could maybe draw if he gets rid of enough pawns. So I think this is where they're at. White resigned. Okay, so he dropped the piece over here, moved the bishop to a square. It could be taken. Definitely, this could have been a draw if a bishop just here, and oh, but that's also a problem. So maybe make a queen, put your bishop in the corner. Try not lose this. Let's see what the computer says. I think making a queen here holds on to stuff. B8 equals bishop. What's the problem with making a queen? Is it even worse than making a bishop? Make a queen, bishop takes b8, bishop a8, or b7, and knight to f5. I don't know, this would have been better. I feel like you can kind of draw this. Black's only up one minor piece. In any case, down on the clock over there also cost in the game. And Mark has resigned this game. Mark started fighting hard apparently. So after this we saw him drop the rook as well for some space or initiative. And knight e8. Nice idea, but so the idea here I think was after trades, you're hitting the rook and you can maybe take the knight, the bishop. So Kanye just played a safe move, and there he won the pawn. He's up so much material, there's not much to do. Mark went on to lose. Okay. A poor, it's just I don't think the best Evans Gambit preparation there. Trophy Master Banele. Trophy Master is holding out quite well. He doesn't have the bishop here, but it's not clear how Banele is running away with this game after all those awkward knight moves. And I thought the advantage would be bigger for Banele by now, but it turns out white's okay. Maybe just for now. Going to be a tricky position for white to play, but it's not hopeless. Not hopeless at all. Okay, dry pen. He lost against the guy that wins, James. The guy that wins, Devon Smith. I don't think it's James Dinner. Oh, okay, that was a blunder somewhere. White was definitely better back here. And I think one of the things you needed to try was d3, d6. Before this, we had h3 move. h3 was kind of not doing anything. Let's check the computer here. d6 is... Yeah, d6, it's recommending bishop g5 as well. But I think after h3, you're kind of throwing away your advantage by quite a lot. That's one pawn you're giving away. But I like d6. E takes, d takes, and where does the queen go? c6, and now bishop g5. Okay, maybe it's not too great. The computer likes bishop g5 in the first place, just to make the queen awkward, and maybe you've got another pawn shove or something. But this, I'm sure that Devon is very happy with winning this. I don't think he's complaining. Position was still kind of equalish. There's some blunders here and there, But after this knight moved, not guarding the square anymore, it was game over. Bishop takes g4, he can't recapture the bishop. Because of mate into check, king moves, and mate. Okay, so Panda Bird. Against Keegan Agales. I was saying Keegan Agales. There was something he did that... Oh, I was saying Panda Bird. Oh, yeah, it's after this d4 move. I really liked Panda Bird. Maybe bishop takes. Yeah, bishop takes would have been better. Get the bishop on the diagonal. Also stops that bishop move. And suddenly he dropped another pawn because of the awkwardness of the pin. And the panda is trying to be tricky. But it looks like his attack went nowhere. Keegan just playing up a pawn now. You're not getting rid of this bishop. Don't have another pawn to kick it away. Maybe need to try something like this very quickly. Don't waste your time. Just play d5, e6. There we go. Maybe there's some hope. Let's head back to the open section. Let's see what's happening. The weasel is now down a pawn. Oh, he's still up a pawn. Bramos, Jacob Nguni gave him a pawn earlier. Said, "Give me some initiative. I don't like pawns." And we left the game. Actually, we left the game. Wow. Roundabout. Okay, Jacob. Well, we left the game earlier than this. The game had developed more. And Nguni's knight just keeps on becoming better. That's a nice outpost for the knight. Big time advantage. He won't be having any trouble here. These pawns are also in favor of the dark squared bishop. Sorry, not that. There's no pawn on that square. But the bishop will definitely be helping. And is it time to push the pawn yet? He says, no, just give me 1 second. I'll push it now. The knight can maybe still be a nuisance. Nguni won't be having trouble in anymore. Need to pause that on every tab now. That's what happens when you subscribe to a tournament 2 weeks before the tournament. You forget about it and they send you a notification. It's actually quite nice. But you need to unsubscribe to it in every single tab. Kenny. I like Kenny's position just because he's got a knight. If you can trick white into allowing your knight over here, I think you could be vastly superior, get it connected past pawn or something. Otherwise, it's just very drawish, material-wise. And Roberto did end up winning this game, which Messia unfortunately blundered. Bishop takes h7. Yeah, bishop takes h7. Queen d2, knight takes e5, and just bishop e2. Sorry, bishop e2 would have been fine, but... And I think the game ended after a knight fork. So... See, just hanging around, blunders the rook on g5, check, and that's all she wrote. So finally, Masia did blunder a rook to a knight, as second time today he does so. Steenkamp lost. And how did that happen? He had such a great position. Okay, so we left the game here. We were looking at the deep line following bishop, knight, and all of this nonsense with knight to f5. But his opponent played queen c1. Steenkamp retreated. And then... he dropped a piece here, I think. King takes... Knight check. Why? Oh, king takes just queen check. So that was a blunder. And he just resigned. Okay. Rook takes e7. Rook takes. Rook takes. Yep, rook takes f7. A nice find by Hakia. By the way, let's just see in this position. Queen c1 preferred by the computer. Taking with the bishop not. So his opponent went into a long think over here at the right time of the game, because going bishop takes g6, allowing knight takes g6. I don't think it would have been that great. Rook takes e6, and this is what we're looking at, knight f4. And if you go here, this would have been a blunder. Knight takes. Actually, you can go king g2. Oh, there's never. Sorry, I somehow thought there was the queen h2 in that line, but there's never king g2. Just a knight back, and you can move your queen later. But okay, so Stenkom's threat wasn't that big. White resigned here. Kenny Willenberg going down yet again. This guy's not having a good day. Went for a pawn like this, which is fine, but allowed this rook to enter on the second. So, and then I think he just blundered rook e3. Okay. Duji versus Craig Willenberg. They're still playing. Looks like a drawn pawn, king pawn endgame, except that this rook is great, and these pawns are slightly more advanced. So Duji's gonna Duji's gonna decide on a draw. I was gonna say he's gonna play for more. Back in the under 20 section, we saw Floppy the dog. He got the queen and versus rook bishop, and fortunately for him, he gets his first win. Lucky, not lucky. I'm just saying happy. I'm lucky for him. And well, that's a great game for him. Finally gets the point. And we saw this is Keith's game versus Michael Simpson. That game's over. Mark lost a quick game against Kanya, and Panele and the Trophy Master are still struggling. The Trophy Master, does this guy have a couple of aces up his sleeve? What is the deal? Is this just going to be a draw? Takes. You need to move this pawn maybe. Vanelli needs to really consider this position. So what about h4, king, h3? How is that? Oh, that pawn's quick. You need to get the knight in now. He goes for it. The Trophy Master smells a draw. And just move your king. Pawn, knight, pawn. Whoa, check. Great find. Oh no, oh no. How are you stopping this pawn? You need to stop it from this square. You need to be on h1 kind of. Trophy Master is going to go down. Vanella is having a wonderful... Wait, you've got this. Check. But then what? This is the end of the road. This is the end of the road. You need to give away your knight. And Vanella will come back for this pawn. He's getting the pawn in the next move. And I don't think there's necessarily a draw here. Just check. Push the king out. King h2. And Banele's got another win. This guy is not going down today. Playing some great chess. I thought maybe Trophy Master had a way to draw that. But he's getting mated now. Let's just see the last few moments. Okay. That's mate. Great stuff. Let's see the analysis. I'm just curious as to that last position, really. Whereabouts? It was already pretty terrible by here. And it was important to play h4. Just as an example, I think this would have maybe... No, it's still fine. Okay, so Banele with a good game here. I'd love to... Yeah. I liked the knight. I really did. I guess the king's also in time, so you can maybe trade. The king's also in time to just cut off this pawn. You can make a pass pawn here, or something. Get the king to come take this pawn. In any case, nice stuff. This game is over as well. Devon won, luckily, and Keegan Agales ended up beating the Panda Bird. After Panda Bird had this great position earlier on, I felt critical after a knight takes instead of bishop takes, and let's just see what's the evaluation. Queen takes is another option. Computer prefers it a lot. A +2 situation. How much worse is bishop takes? Slightly worse. Still good. But knight takes, I can guarantee, wasn't best. And went for all of this fancy stuff, but that bishop, and definitely d6 was a strange move. You wanted to get rid of the defender. You can just simply move your rook, I guess, to f1. The bishop's also covering. This would have been still a draw, but d6, where's this pawn going? Even if you manage to get one of the rooks, that's not ideal. I think that concludes this round. Bramos, Jacob Nguni, he's playing as well as Banele Mshangu in the A section, just in the B section. And he curated this advantage of the knight kind of on the outpost. Made a passed pawn, and not much to be said. Strong idea of here, putting the rook on d6, d3. It's such an invader of the position. And this is all she wrote. Queen is coming next move. And that's lights out. Okay, Supremacy Blitz. And wasn't easy. Our Grandmaster goes down yet again. Not having a good day. Where did we leave the position? I was saying that maybe Kenny is better here with the knight. But it seems like he allowed the king to enter firstly. And the knight didn't end up doing much. Or did much. He just tactically, he gave the knight away. Is this just a fork or something? Yeah, he was that knight move necessary? Maybe his position was still kind of okay over here. Yeah, king e7 is fine. But I think knight d7. Wait, what did he play in the game? Knight e7 check. Yep, and that loses to king c6. A fork, and playing down the exchange. Kenny Solomon blundering there. 15 seconds on the clock makes this blunder. Lot to calculate in that position. Masia went down. Okay, that's a different game. Hakia. Steenkamp went down in this unfortunate game. Kenny Willenberg went down. Craig Willenberg and Dodgy made a draw. And I think that concludes all the games. Paul Gluckman won. Keith Kamala won. Kanya won. Banele won. And Devon won. And Keegan Agales won. All the strong players winning this round except for Kenny Solomon. Round 5. I think there are 3 more rounds to go for today. Or round 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. Okay, thanks for watching round 5. Stick around for the next round.